Analysis machine. We're ready for another Digimon character analysis.
Understood. Please select a file.
Give me file 27-01-02.
Recognize. Sora Takenouchi's data is being transferred.
Sora is the wielder of the Crest of Love, and probably the most well-balanced character in the original Digidestined team. But a closer analysis could reveal this character is a lot less cut and dry than she might appear at first glance. Hey guys, this is D Reaper, and today we're doing a character analysis on Sora Takanochi. If you're new to the channel, then you might be interested in knowing that this is part of a series where we analyze all the original Digidestined characters. If you're interested in this type of content, be sure to check the playlist to catch up on the characters we've already discussed. And also be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll know when we do the next one. For everyone else, we've got a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Sora is one of the few Digidestins to instantly get Tai's approval during the introduction, and after a few episodes, it's pretty easy to see why. Sora is very kind and nurturing, but at the same time, she's pretty tough and quite reliable. She seems to have a healthy mix of the most positive character traits, allowing her to fill the role of whatever the group needs most in any given situation. When Tai, Matt, and Joe are getting worked up about climbing Infinity Mountain, Sora shouts down all three of them, getting them to return to their immediate focus on the current issue of Shelter. And later on, when Joe leaves to climb the mountain solo, even though she immediately recognizes he might be in danger, she doesn't panic. She alerts the others and goes along with Tai to come to Joe's rescue. But even while she's playing superhero, Sora still manages to distinguish herself as one of the strongest emotional pillars in the group, as she's one of the main people who deals with Mimi's breakdowns and comforts TK when he's scared or crying. With this seamless blend of strength and kindness, it's no wonder many of the others see Sora as the mother hen of the group. Even though the team is split up by Devimon, Sora and Beamon seem to be doing alright on their own. But when Joe and Gomamon wash up on their island, Sora agrees to make Joe their leader, and feigns helplessness in order to boost his confidence. Even though Joe proves to be an insufficient leader, both turning into a tyrant almost immediately, and then tried to shirk the leadership role as soon as it got tough. Sora persisted and continued to push Joe until he managed to get his act together, thus allowing him to get out of his funk and grow as a character. So far, Sora seems to be a near flawless character. Even through the Edamon arc, while some of the other characters are changing up their roles a bit, Sora remains the same consistent voice of reason, strength, and stability for the group. And as positive as Sora is for the group's dynamic, characters without issues tend to be kind of boring. Now, if you've been following along with us in this series, then you should know, often the character writing in Digimon is very good, though it tends to be nuanced. Meaning they typically won't just jump out and tell you X, Y, and Z about a character, but they'll scatter pieces of a puzzle and it's up to the viewer to put them together. And Sora is no exception. Oftentimes, it's the people that seem like they have everything put together on the surface that have the deepest internal turmoil. This might be an effort to mask one's inner feelings, or it could be the effort to appease a monster of their own creation. Sora appears to show signs of both. It isn't until after the Enamon arc that Sora gets her first major character challenge. After Tai and Agumon go missing, Sora and Beamon depart from the group to find them, and you can see our character analysis on Matt for Reaper's theory on how exactly this played out. And I'll have the analysis machine leave a link to that right about here. Also, I'll note, even though I do believe that the others fell apart without Tai to guide them forward, I do think Sora's departure was almost as influential to dividing the team. It was clear to see that the group was lost without Tai. But Sora being the first domino to create the chain reaction, as well as Sora's personality kind of being a glue that holds others together, I tend to believe the group would have held together quite a bit longer had she not been absent. So, what was the reason behind her absence anyway? When she initially departed from the group, her language and demeanor seemed to show that she had every intention of returning. So what happened? Well, shortly after leaving the group, Sora and Beamon overheard Myodosmon and his henchmen plotting against the group, where he discloses that they mustn't allow the children to activate their crest, because it's the only way they will have the power to stop them. He also alludes to this being the key to them fulfilling their destiny and being able to leave this world. And how exactly do they activate their crest? It's tied deeply to embodying the trait of the corresponding crest symbol. When Devimon catches wind of her, he laughs in Sora's face, saying that she'll never be able to make her crest glow, because she doesn't even know what love is. When Sora hears this, she's absolutely crushed, so much so she can't even bring herself to face the others, though we don't immediately find out why. Sora spends several weeks helping the group from the shadows, watching over TK until Tai arrives, helping Joe at the restaurant, and talking some sense into Mimi when she goes full psycho. Even while keeping her distance, Sora still manages to be a major positive impact on the group. When Sora is the last group member missing, the others are trying to connect the dots on Sora, as some of them are sure that they've seen or at least heard her recently. They are puzzled on why she doesn't just show herself. As they're deliberating this, the group is attacked by an evil Digimon. When it looks like the others might be in trouble, Bergermon appears and helps them out. The group is excited, knowing if Bergermon is here, that means Sora is close by. But instead of landing and joining them, Bergermon flies off. The group gives chase, and with some effort, they're able to corner Sora and ask her what's going on. After some prompting from Biyomon, Sora decides to confess to the group what she's learned about the crests. After hearing this, the group's reaction is generally positive. After all, learning how to activate their crest is a good thing, and some testimonials from some of the other members whose Digimon have reached the ultimate level verify Sora's explanation. The others can't fathom why this information would be upsetting. After Tai hears the story, he's relieved, saying he was afraid it might have been something serious, and tries to wave the whole thing off. And at first, it might seem like Tai is being insensitive, but truly, his reaction is justified. It's as if the known internet troll comments, "Hey, I think you're lame" on your profile. And it's like, of course he would say something like that. He's a known liar and a creep. Nothing that comes off his mouth should be taken seriously. But of course, it goes deeper than that. I don't know how Devimon has the access to all the Digidestin's characters' profiles, but as stated before, he seems to have the details to push just the right buttons, and for Sora, her concept of love is a very sensitive topic. Though the others can't fathom why this information would be upsetting. Tai comments that her crest of love is a perfect fit for her, but Sora yells at him, saying he's wrong, and they don't know the first thing about her. With a little more prodding, she gives the group a picture of her relationship with her mother, by recounting she and her mother's interaction after Sora was injured playing soccer. The day Sora's team is supposed to be participating in the final qualifying match, Sora is forced to stay home by her mom, to give her injury more time to heal. Sora insists she can play through the pain, because she doesn't want to let her team down. But Sora's mom won't hear any of it. As if this wasn't bad enough, her mom tells her it's about time that she leave things like soccer behind, and focuses her attention on the ins and outs of running the flower shop. This causes Sora to explode in anger, asking why her mom can't understand how important soccer is to her, and she runs out of the house. She later runs across her teammates, who are devastated from having lost their match, and we see Sora hanging her head and averting her gaze in shame, the same way she has been behaving since explaining the reason for her actions to the group, and likely anticipating the same shame when the others will need her to activate her crest, only to be disappointed to find out she cannot. Now, even with this incident as reference, Sora's reaction still may seem a bit dramatic, but allow Reba to push back a bit more. I think the sports scenario is a very good example situation, and Reba will get to exactly why that is in a second. But first, I'd like you to put yourself in Sora's position, and you might be surprised to find that you've been here before. It doesn't have to be a sport, it can be whatever you're passionate about: art, music, a relationship, or a career path. Whenever you're very passionate about something and the people in your inner circle don't seem to be able to understand how much it means to you, that can create a dissonance. The reason I believe sports makes a prime example for Sora's scenario is because for a lot of young people, being a part of a sports team is their first real experience with being part of something that's larger than themselves. Adding passion to the sense of purpose only exemplifies those feelings, and with that in mind, it's no wonder Sora gets upset when her mom tries to mitigate its significance. But let's keep in mind, Sora isn't just saying she doesn't believe her mom really loves her. Her current concern is that she doesn't know if she's capable of loving, partially due to the fact that she's not convinced she even knows what love really is. For further context, Sora is an only child, and her father is often away for months at a time because of work. So her mom is her primary custodian, and I believe that the fact that Sora doesn't feel close to her mom, in spite of this, hurts her, and also makes her feel like something is very wrong with her. Tai and Matt try to help in their own way. Tai by making jokes and bashing Devimon, but admits himself he's not great in these situations, while Matt says to let her be and get her emotions out. And speaking of Matt, we did talk about the distorting effects of isolation in Matt's analysis, and the rationality that comes with insecurities and TK's analysis, and it seems we're seeing some of both play out here as well.
It appears that there are a lot of references to Matt in these Digimon character analyses.
Well, Matt is one of the most layered characters in the group, so we did cover a lot of ground with him. But similar to Matt, isolating herself from the group only seems to further skew her perspective, as the others see her actions and behaviors towards them as definitive proof that she's a loving person. And of course her friends are a much more reliable source than Devimon. But when it comes to a person's insecurities, it's easy to believe regardless of the source. In spite of the proof presented to her that she's likely being too hard on herself, Sora yells back at the others, essentially saying, "I can't even say with confidence that I love my own mother, and you guys are just people." She even goes as far as to say she doesn't care about the group, and makes an attempt to discard her tag and crest, as if its very existence is mocking her. Fortunately, TK is there to take care of the situation, and he lets Sora know how special their relationship is to him, as he reveals he doesn't miss his mom so much when she's around. He's able to get through to Sora when no one else can, at least enough to calm her down a bit. Her cries of frustration and bitterness become tears of gratitude and remorse. Later that night, Biyomon gets injured protecting Sora during an enemy ambush. As the fight goes on and the group are getting backed into a corner, the injured Biyomon tries to join the others, but Sora holds her back and the two start arguing. Biyomon questions why Sora can't understand something as simple as, "Our friends are in trouble, I have to fight." And Sora questions how Biyomon can't understand that going into a dangerous situation when you're already injured is foolishness. As they try to get each other to understand their own viewpoints, Sora realizes that she sounds just like her mother did, and starts to realize that the issue wasn't that their relationship lacked love. There was just a misunderstanding in how they were communicating it with each other. With this revelation, Sora can say with no doubt the feelings that she has for Biyomon is indeed love, and her crest begins glowing, showing Sora has taken a major step closer to understanding both her mom and herself. When the group returns to the real world, we see consistent evidence that Sora is a compassionate person, like when she gives up her seat on the train to make room for a woman and her baby. And later in the arc, when Myotismon starts terrorizing the town, Sora is taken prisoner along with most of the civilians in the area. But even though she's in a tough situation, she goes around encouraging people who seem to be having the most difficult time.
We've got some powerful friends. Besides, we've got truth and justice and all that good stuff on our side.
Even separated from her partner, and the odds stacked against them, Sora encourages the others to fight back, using the same method she and Joe used to defeat the Bakuman when they were on the island. And even though the rebellion was relatively short-lived, her efforts were enough to inspire others to do the same, and it caused enough commotion for her to be found by Biyomon and her mom. In the brief reunion, we see that there's a lot these two want to say to each other, as by now Biyomon has helped them both realize how the other feels. But with the enemies closing in, Sora's mom urges her to take the window to escape, and she does so, albeit reluctantly, with a promise to return with help. When the fighting's over, the call to return to the digital world is quite abrupt. Only a few of the kids get to have a brief conversation with some of their family members before jumping into the Digi-portal. We see Sora a bit downcast, as it looks like she won't get to say goodbye to her mom, when she suddenly hears her mom's voice telling her that she loves her and will be awaiting her safe return. Sora mutters a quiet goodbye, likely adhering to the status quo of their misinterpreted relationship. But then she gives into her feelings and yells a heartfelt goodbye at the top of her lungs, showing things are surely changing for the better between her and her mom. When the group ends up splitting for various reasons, Sora sticks with the majority to tackle the main objective, which is vital, especially because Tai relies on Sora a lot. And speaking of him, another positive trait to add to Sora's repertoire is how she submits to Tai. But let's break this down so there's no misunderstanding.
But Reaper, I don't even want to have to submit to anyone.
That's great, champ. But if you ever want to hold a job, be part of a team, or get along with a group, it's probably something that you should learn to do. These days, submission is seen kind of as a dirty word, especially when it involves a female doing the submitting. But in reality, all it means is deferring to a recognized authority, which in this case is the elected leader of the group. Now, I don't want to make it sound like submitting is easy. It's not. It takes a measure of humility, and it also means accepting the decision of the person, even if you don't completely agree, because submitting to another person means that they have the final say. So, does that mean when you submit to someone, it has to be with head down, mouth shut, and mind blank? By no means, but let's observe Sora and Tai's interaction for an example of the healthy submission Sora practices. In this instance, the team's fighting force has been cut nearly in half, and the team is forced into making a difficult decision on whether or not to risk going deeper into enemy territory or retreat and regroup, even though it might lead to dealing with reinforcements later. Tai takes longer than usual to come to a decision, but eventually he does.
All we've been through, he can't really be thinking about going.
All right, we're going.
And with Sora's inner dialogue, we know that this was the last thing she was expecting. But pay attention to how she addresses her concern.
I'll go along with your decision, but I'm still not sure it's safe.
I know it's dangerous, Sora, and we're not looking for trouble, but if anything happens, Koromon and I will hold off Puppetmon while you take the others and escape. I won't let anything happen to you.
You mean it?
Of course I do.
Okay then.
The first thing she does is assure Tai that she's willing to go along with his decision, which is a very wise way to proceed. One, it communicates that she's not going to get into a power struggle with Tai, which is particularly significant considering Matt's recent departure, and it communicates that she's willing to trust Tai. And once she's made it clear that Tai still has her support, she voices her concern that she believes this decision might be too dangerous. With this clearly laid out communication, When Tai responds, he knows he doesn't have to be defensive or worry if Sora is planning to leave the team or attempt a mutiny. So he's able to quickly communicate his thoughts and put Sora's mind at ease so that they can catch up with the others. And that's ideal. Not only was Sora considerate of Tai, she was honest with her own feelings, which took guts, because not only was she in opposition with the team leader, she already lost the majority vote. But through her tactful communication, she didn't have to struggle in her head, resenting Tai for making a decision that she didn't agree with. And I strongly encourage anyone watching to try this method whenever handling disagreements in your own circles. Whether it's a boss, a parent, or a project leader, don't start with protests or accusations. Instead, begin with submission or affirmation, then present your point. You might be surprised by how far you can get. Okay, back to Sora. As mentioned, with the team divided, Tai relies on Sora a bunch, and Sora is in full mama bear mode, doing her best to keep everyone safe. And we can see more evidence of the special relationship she has with TK, as she speaks with him about responsibility, among other things. And we also see that she has a big motivation to be strong for TK's sake, perhaps in part to make up for leaving him for so long when Tai was missing, something she and Biyomon knew before they left would upset him. But nearing the last confrontation, we see the pressure starting to crack her. When Tai sends her and TK to gather the others for the final fight, things are looking pretty bleak. She knows Tai's putting himself in harm's way in the hope that she will return with the team before he and Wargreymon strength gives out. But as they are searching the barren digital world with no response from the Digivice, she begins to give in to the hopelessness of the situation. When TK asks Sora for affirmation that they can really do this, Sora almost breaks and lets TK know what she's really thinking, that this is a hopeless quest. But she manages to swallow her feelings for his sake and assures him that they will make it in time. Their search leads them to an area of the digital world where darkness runs rampant, and once Sora touches down, the darkness zeroes in on her suppressed negative energy and consumes her. When Sora is enveloped in her negative cocoon, she keeps repeating the list of things she has to do. She has to find the others, she has to help Tai, she has to do better or the world will be destroyed. Even when Joe and Matt are right in front of her, letting her know that half of her objective is already complete, Sora can't be comforted by that fact. Instead, she focuses on what she hasn't done, and reprimands herself for not trying hard enough. And now we can see the root of Sora's inner turmoil, the expectation that she forces on herself. Sora is an amazing person, and she arguably does more for the team than anyone else, but no matter how much she does, it will never be enough, because there will always be more to do, and failing at just one task means she's a failure. Sora is being consumed by a monster of her own creation. Fortunately, her friends are there to help guide her through. Matt advises Sora not to cling so close to the things she needs to do, and make room for the things that she wants to do. Even leaving the darkness is not something that she has the power to do if she does it out of obligation, but she should focus on wanting to leave. This is good advice on multiple levels. Some of us can be so consumed with things we feel like we have to do, we look more like human doings than human beings. Having responsibility is good, healthy even, but if you give all of yourself to appease others, there won't be any you left for, well, you. Joe tells Sora it's not always about being the best, having the right answers, or even having a clue. He appeals to Sora's uniqueness and the team, assuring Sora that she is not alone. With their guidance, Sora is able to reach out for help and allow them to pull her out of the darkness. We might explore the darkness of the digital world at a later time, but for now let's look at the correlation of the darkness in these two characters. Matt and Sora's mannerisms are like night and day. Matt is openly moody, has conflicts with several of the other Digidestins, and makes several attempts to abdicate from the team before actually doing it. While Sora is generally upbeat, accommodates everyone, and is a force holding people together, yet they were both susceptible to this darkness because of the abundance of negative emotions that they carry. I think this can be another reminder that emotional discord has no definitive package. It can occur in all types of people, even those on completely opposite spectrums, like Sora and Matt. And finally, when Sora realizes she will not be able to escape being turned into a keychain by Paimon, she gives TK a final charge, as well as a vote of confidence, before she faces her fate without fear or hesitation. And we see that it's Sora's final instructions, along with Matt's encouragement, that allow TK to maintain hope and get his partner to the next level. Wait, is Reaper indirectly promoting Sorato? Well, anyway, that should about cover it for Sora. Though she's dealing with a lot more challenges under the surface than one would initially think, she is a dutiful, nurturing, and consistent force for the Digidestined group. Regardless of the challenging circumstances or inner conflict, Sora can always be seen as someone who's always kind to others and overflowing with love. Hey guys, this is D Reaper, and if you made it to the end, we just want to say thank you for watching. So, what are your thoughts? Did we get it right, or did we miss a mark? Let us know in the comment section. We look forward to reading it. And while you're down there, be sure to like the video and subscribe to see more analysis like this one. It also does a lot to help the channel when you do. But with that said, it's time to bring this video to a close. My name is D Reaper, and I'm a YouTuber for fun. Today's challenge? Spread the love. Good luck, and we'll see you all in the next one.